That's only one way to start.
The defenders that have performed at VVD's level is Rio, John Terry, and Vidic. I mean, how long are we going to act like this guy's a top striker, man? Champions League final.
We got to the Champions League final and lost to Liverpool. I'm cool. I've accepted
You're
that.
cool
I
with
moved
that?
on.
Worst week ever as a Spurs fan. I
think the most pertinent issue that we can discuss, and I've said that I'm not.
Guy loves a big word. Like
That's the dumbest thing you've said on this pod.
Cool
You
with
just
that.
said
I was about to say, I'm
Spurs
cool
are
with
in
that.
turmoil. You know you want to say it.
listen.
Don't let him press you.
Get 20% off all Manscaped products plus free shipping with the promo code STTV.
Welcome back to another episode of Stoppage Time TV. We're live in the flesh, live and direct in effect. You already know what time it is. The show is presented by BIM. Manscaped.
The one and only man's choice.
Get your man said the one and only man's choice. You know? Listen, we
Hey,
don't
it is,
discriminate. Men, women, whatever we want to use, you know, because it's smooth, innit? Them ones there.
You're saying everybody's got weeds they can whack.
You
It's
should
in the
work with
product,
branding.
baby. It's in
You
the
should work with
product.
branding.
Hey,
Still.
I'm telling you, bro. Marketing. Holla at me.
Real talk. You good at recruitment?
Nah.
Oh, I was going to say you could have helped your team out, but we'll go into that eventually. Flipping. Anyway, without further ado, hold tight the 3-point collectors in the room.
go,
Here. Hold tight the participants. Hold tight the teams that have one leg into the respectable finals that they're competing for.
Man, we're doing flat throwback Thursdays, bro. We're trying to repeat their 7-1 actions.
Real talk. Real talk. Hold tight Comeback Kings. Hold tight the new winners in the Protest Olympics.
Yeah.
We've had an update. You know, like in the Olympics, when each day there's a new event. And then they go,
Rankings
America have the
update.
most gold medals after day 2. We have a new lead at the moment. You know, we don't know how long the Protest Olympics is going on for, but we have a new lead at the moment. And that's probably the best place for us to start. I mean,
What, like that? Jeez.
like with Stoppage, as you people know, we discuss stuff, but we see ourselves as an educational platform. And I think from my perspective, I think there's a few things that are interesting with the protest we saw today. Of course, if everyone doesn't know, the game was postponed as a result of it. That was a mad thing. See, because I rushed into the studio, I didn't take my sip. I don't know what my water is, but as a result, game postponed. There's been a lot of conversation about whether the fans went overboard or not. There's been a lot of conversation, which I feel from my own knowledge of what's happened, that's a bit misinformed. So what we're going to do is just kind of to give it context. We've got our own very Love United, Hate the Glazers representative in the building.
Scarfed up.
It can't be culture cams because that culture is a bit different. So we need something before the cams.
but
Correspondent cams. We've got correspondent cams in the building. Because I think we were talking, I was saying to myself, they've been there 16 years. And I remember when I was a youth and seeing that the Glazers thing was a bit...
Was new, bruv.
Yeah,
Like
it was new.
takeovers at that time was like fairly new. Only the Abramovich one was kind of the big one that had happened before that. But even this one was like a group one. But obviously we'll speak more on that.
But and then I just feel like even with like the not sort of the fight back, but some of the early things that happened where United fans were unhappy, it's not new, but it may have gone over a few heads. So the floor is yours, bro, in terms of wherever you want to start from. If you need graphics, maybe tell production to
Throw something in.
Boy,
right, you know what? I don't know. It's hard to say where to really start from with all of it. Like, you know what? First and foremost, like, big up all the fans that did go and protest and stuff, because if you're gonna do something, do it properly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If they're gonna do something, do it properly. And whatever club you are, whatever club you support, protest is something that it's a free world, bro. Protest is allowed anywhere. So there's no talk about. For me, I don't think they went too far or anything like that. Because as I said, if you're going to do it properly. Some fans protested outside the stadium.
Yeah.
These guys found a way to somehow get in the stadium. Go and do your thing on the eve of which is supposedly the biggest game in English football between Man United and Liverpool. Maybe not so much this season, but historically. So it's good. Like I didn't know that it was going to be the situation where a cancellation of the game will go on. But listen, if you want your voice to be heard, you got to go above and beyond, because it's been 16 years. And when you look at when the Glazers were originally going to take over, and this is like 2003, 2004, whatever, there was posters of like Malcolm Glazer's like head like chopped off
on
and
a
shit.
spike and shit.
Yeah, they didn't, but like the plan to take over the club was always going to be taken over, and Man United were always going to be in debt because of it. The Glazers took about, I think, about
started a United of Manchester
Yes.
separate club and everything. Like,
yeah, so
that's how much people were against it.
Yeah.
When did that come? Though?
So I'm not entirely sure when FC United or whatever came, but it was in retaliation to kind of like take out. You can check it on the laptop, whatever. Take our club back. You know what I'm trying to say, because a lot of them didn't want to support Man United under the ownership of the Glazers.
Mm-hmm.
So when you think about that, now that was with Fergie. I can show you guys days of when we're lifting our title and there's Glazers out. I can show you when Beckham came back to United in 2010, I think it was, and had the scarf around his neck, and everyone had a scarf. There's images. So anyone that's comes with United are only doing this, like Graham Souness said, United don't do this because we're winning. That's no, because we're not winning no more.
Yeah.
That's not true, because even when we're the best, right after our 3-peat and the Champions League was when it really started firing up.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason that really started firing up initially is kind of what happened with the Cristiano Ronaldo money. Do you know what I mean? Ronaldo got bought by Real Madrid. The Glazers swallowed that money and basically gave us 20 million out of it to use on the club. And one thing that people need to realize, which is what I was saying to you guys, and I know it might sound like the rich are complaining, the rich are complaining about being, you know what I mean? Like, oh, United are rich already, why are you guys complaining? But just because you're rich, does that mean somebody should be able to hold your money and take your money?
Mm-hmm.
The Man United on sole revenue as a football club are the richest club in the world by themselves.
Yeah.
City are pumped by an owner, Chelsea pumped by an owner, PSG pumped by an owner, Barcelona, Real Madrid, obviously Perez and stuff. As a sole institution, Man United are the richest club in the world, but you wouldn't know it. And the thing is, the way Man United spend money is through our own income
that you make.
The Glazers have spent in 16 years, the Glazers have invested for Man United signings. 20% of our signings has been by the Glazers. The rest of it has all been self-raised money by Manchester United.
Yeah.
Old Trafford is old toilet, mate. It stinks in the stadium. It's leaking, bro. It's a shit house in there, bro. If you look at the toilets in there, it's a shit house.
I think it was so easy to get into today,
bro. Exactly. You look at Manchester City, £200 million investment in a training ground, youth facilities. You please, I'm telling you guys, go on Google and look at what Carrington looks like. Yeah. It looks like shit. This is meant to be the biggest club in the world financially. You know what I'm trying to say?
And even to interrupt you, I feel like what you're saying is true, but to kind of put more gravity to the point, everything that United had at one point was best in the world. Carrington at one point was best in the world.
Old Trafford, biggest stadium
best in the world in terms of where United were coming
from. We don't even have screens. We don't even have screens in the stadium to watch replays.
The game has changed so much in those 16 years as well. Yeah, I feel like 100%. They haven't made enough to do that catch up. A lot of clubs have modernized and kind of caught up with the 21st century. They've kind of just been happy to rest on the heritage and the history that Fergie's built.
And the reason because of that, is because when the Glazers are coming, they've taken 2 billion out of the club. And this is what I keep saying. The club produced this money. And now let me just read something to you guys.
And am I right in saying like the debt that you lot have had under them as well, they haven't put money in to clear that debt. You see, like a lot of the owners, they come in, they take the debt and they try and clear it or whatever, balance the books or whatever.
We're in debt because of how they bought the club. When they bought the club, they bought it off bank loans. So now they're using our revenue to pay off that loan.
Yeah.
And so we are actually having to pay off the loan of the Glazers, the Glazers owning us. That's what it is. But let me read this to you, how much money the Glazers have taken out of Man United, and I can't read all the descriptions for you guys because it's a long writing. But debt, 511 million. Interest, 806 million. Share sales, 452 million. Dividends, 80 million. Directors' fees, 92 million. And the Ronaldo fee, 85 million. Altogether, that comes up to about 2 billion. They've taken about 2 billion out of this football club. This is why the fans are pissed off. And then when you see great people like Graham Souness say it's just because the Man United are not winning no more and we want to be like City, that's not it. Because when we were on the top, we always knew Fergie's greatness or whatever is what's carrying us through after a while. We always knew, look how many times I laugh with you, man, and say, did you see Man United Champions League final scored in 2011? Ha ha ha.
Yeah.
This is what I'm talking about, because Fergie was having to deal with basically nothing, and what's the word? Elevate it. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
And the only reason why it's similar to Arsenal, but the only thing about Arsenal is that they're not as rich, self-raised as Manchester United. So whereas we might fall off a little bit, they're gonna completely fall off a cliff. That's the difference.
Do you think though with Fergie, that because he knew that situation, because he'd worked with the Glazers for 8 years or whatever, that he possibly retired because of that, knowing that he's not gonna get that kind of backing from them, or he could see where the club was going? Do you think maybe he could have? I don't think, because I feel like he could have maybe gone on a little bit more if he wanted to.
Yeah, it's possible.
A bigger question for me there is, it's more David Gill and everything, because it was one after another, right?
Like a domino effect almost.
It was sort of like what was remaining of the United heritage of actual Manchester United was leaving, whereas you still had the institution that were doing what they were doing. So people come in. It's funny how when those things happen, Ed Woodward now has more sort of power and influence, and then of course he's in cahoots with the Glazers, and it's not just the Glazers, right? You guys have 6 owners basically. It's Glazers and the rest of them, but it's the Glazers are the figurehead of what's going on.
Yeah.
What I find really interesting, which is not spoken about enough, is we always talk about protest, and sort of fan uproar. The original fan uproar I remember growing up was, and we've mentioned it here as a joke sometimes. Do you remember when they used to show all the time I don't want to get it wrong, but the Asian United fans that would sit in the stadiums, they were so invested in not even just the club but the community.
Yeah, the Sikhs.
And then there we go. And then
those are our brothers.
Remember when they were saying that they're not coming back to the stadium? And I kid you not, we've not seen them since.
Hope they're cool, bro.
Real talk, but
cool,
that was the original.
Remember your winning charm.
That was the original, but that is almost the original fan protest, and we don't talk about it because the social media element wasn't big, but that was happening from then. And I think what's confusing people is they see a big thing like the Super League and think that it's because of that or because we're not winning, but there's like a long line of, like you said, Cam, before they even got here, people were saying that we don't want this. There's a United documentary coming out that Cantona's he's thinking everything, and anytime when someone speaks about Man United, it's all the history of this is a working man's club from the roots, come up story and everything. So then when you get this situation, you understand why the fans are against it, because it's like, if there's one club in the UK that will be against this stuff, it's them. So
I mean, today's protest was like an outlier for pretty much all the protests. I think it was the most eventful, if you want to call it. But do you think that it's set out to achieve its targets?
Well,
I
anything
it did. I believe it.
If,
I think
if
there's
a protest is meant
to
for disruption to kind of break the system in the biggest game of the season, why not?
That's the thing. You've got to. At the end of the day, you don't know what's going to happen from the protest. The Glazers might not sell the club or anything. But you've got to do something to put. You got to do stuff to put awareness out there
because now you've hurt their pockets.
Exactly, and then you look at it. Look, let's just talk about Chelsea. Yeah, Chelsea in the last 4 years. Yeah. Abramovich has put 233 million into the club, In the last 4 years, the Glazers have taken out 133 million out of Man United. We're the worst in the whole Premier League in terms of money coming out of the club. And the next
that's
one,
not transfers. That's not transfers.
Levy's next.
I knew it. Just to point out, that's not like footballing activity. That's in terms of money that's actually just taken out.
Yes, exactly. So we've got a club here. We're a club that's very generated by ourselves. And when you have a situation where the owners are not investing, the Glazers don't invest in Man United. People need to realise this, because a lot of people are saying, you spent 80 million on Maguire, you spent you've got money. Yeah, the football club has money. The football club, the owners are not doing nothing. Yeah, I mean, with what Chelsea just went and did 200 with all Havertz
signing,
that's come from
Abramovich, bro. Do you know what I'm trying to say? That's the owner really caring about a football club. Our owners do not care about a football club. And you can see it from top to bottom. United are disjointed, bro. Disjointed, up and down. And it shows, bro. It shows.
Seeing what you said in terms of was it successful, I feel like it was for various reasons, and it's not just United.
Do you think it will have an effect moving forward?
This is what I'm going to go to. I feel like what it did show is that you have the power to cause massive disruption, because the biggest game of the season, which could have seen, the Premier League champions crowned, is not going on. That is causing big disruption. It also shows me that within the UK, the fans have realised that there's another level, because abroad, this is not nothing new. I've seen Italian fans run into the boardrooms of clubs. In the,
Marseille, Bordeaux recently, just last week, we're doing a madness.
That's normal.
Yeah.
So that I feel like in terms of UK fans, not just United, what this has then shown is that, you know what, everything we've been doing is not enough.
Yeah.
We can actually double down and go harder. Now, does that mean that United are going to sell? I don't know. I don't think so. Because at the end of the day,
easy to buy
it's a
Man
many
United.
thing. Exactly. And that's another thing. Like, even if you wanted to push these people out, as we've alluded to, United have a lot of debts that a new owner would have to come and take. And you'd still don't want them to invest. That is the tricky part. And also, if United fans wanted to have equal share, let's be realistic. United is £1 billion company.
That 50 plus one
That
stuff
50
ain't
plus can't
It's
work.
not
If you, who's
We're
going
a
to put the
PLC
money up?
anyway, it can't really happen.
It's going to
Yeah.
be very difficult. But what it does do is it shakes the core. It shakes the core, and it makes you realize, okay, you know what? Maybe there's another level. And for one thing for sure as well is, every club has factions, right? Of people, you know, sort of like, you know, these little armies that people have. United have it. Spurs, I'm
Ultras.
not too sure. I think actually,
Some
no, Spurs
ultras.
do have it. Spurs have some proper hard knock geezers,
Yeah.
and then they've got some that do the Kasabian thing. But what I saw today with that whole breaking into the stadium for me was, I feel like for the first time ever, they probably all came together and said, you know what, enough is enough. People would have had different thoughts of how to do things before. The fact that they broke into the stadium shows me that they
The
said,
fact
you know
that
what,
stewards
You know
were
what?
opening the gates
Yes.
to let them in,
for
bro,
me, it
tells
just
you that.
me that there's a level of collaboration that has to go into for you to get to this point.
You're right. It was a 2-week build up. The first one was just kind of like, all right, well, let's test the waters. The next one was like, before Liverpool, we're gonna do everything. Don't get twisted. There wasn't only at Old Trafford. People
was at the hotels as well.
Hotel as well, you know. And the thing is, it's been I think it's been a long time coming. Yeah, I mean, it's been a long time coming, and the ESL situation has just kind of accelerated it, because the Glazers were first, which we touched on last week, were one of the main contributors to this. He was about to be on the board. Yeah, they were about to literally, after all these years of not investing in Man United and nothing, they were just about to basically reward themselves, pat themselves on the back, and be like, "What? We can just find
350 mil?
we can just make
Easy.
more money out of these guys and reward mediocrity." That's exactly what it is. So that is what the final nail in the coffin is. And one thing that I don't like, though, amongst all of this, is the whole Gary Neville situation and stuff.
The savior,
Because Gary Neville, you
savior
played
complex.
for Man United.
You didn't
Yeah,
say anything.
you played for Man United. You were the captain of Man United. Yeah, and you as well, in his own words, said, "I've been kind of quiet on the whole Glazer situation until the ESL come up." And then now you're kind of talking like you're Winston Churchill or something. Do you know what I
There's a lot of
mean?
propaganda
Now all of
going
a
on.
sudden he's talking about the club have never had trust in it. Bro, you've been on Sky Sports for years. You've had opportunities to kind of do all this stuff, and now you're moving like you're what's the word? Like starting a war or something. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Trying to
You've
liberate the
had this
people.
whole opportunity, and when people do that and wait for opportunist moments, I then start thinking you're a clout chaser. I start thinking not
but
clout
is
chaser.
it-
I don't
is
like
it
the word.
not
Let me
the-
not say the word
yeah.
clout chaser. That's
Serving
me.
your own purpose. You're serving your own purpose. Gary Neville-
The whole time, and I'm telling you, I'm quoting him. Oh, I've been silent on the situation. Why have you been silent on the situation if you've known it's peak? It's only till the ESL thing come.
But as you said, was
that
that
he's
not
now
the final
excited.
nail in the coffin, though?
No, but
But you've got the
because Gary
influence.
Neville
But the
won,
thing is, because Gary Neville's platform or Sky Sports is so big, and at a time like this, we're all going to be his things are going to be more impactful.
No, but
his
do you-
words
So
are
why
gonna
didn't
be
he
more.
say
I say this though? But
Why didn't he say
the
anything
point,
before?
your
It was
point
in
is
his
right.
best interest.
No,
it
you're-
was probably, but now it's at a point
both-
where
both
literally
points are
you
right.
cannot go back. Right now, he cannot stay silent. He cannot do the I'm gonna play the
Let me-
50
let me
50
tell you
on
something.
everything.
Wait,
Nah.
Do you know-
I'm not trying to
It's
say.
at a point now he has to do this.
I'm not trying
I
to
feel
say
like.
The way
every
he's gone
single
about
week.
it, though.
I'm not trying to say every single week Gary Neville said, listen, I'm in favor of everything Gary
Because
Neville's
what
saying.
he's
Let me
saying
say-
is a
yes,
lot of sense,
I'm
yeah.
in favor of what Gary Neville's saying. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is
It's the reason behind why he's
it's the
doing it.
reason behind it. It's like you've known everything.
Self-serving.
Gary Neville, everything Gary Neville is saying
And
is
do you know what I
right.
tell you?
Classic
But you
thing.
haven't
But do you know
said
what I
it.
tell
Don't
you?
shoot
So-
the messenger.
But no, but do you know what? Let me
You
tell
say
you
it yourself all the time.
I'm
Don't
not
shoot the
shooting Gary
messenger.
Neville.
Let me tell
I'm
you.
not
Let me tell
shooting
you.
it. I'm
Let
saying
me
I
tell
agree
you
with
why.
saying.
Yeah.
I can see this, because what's the phrase that he said now? That I could have said something. Do you know the last time I heard him say that? When he was talking about Raheem Sterling, when he was talking about racism, and then when it was convenient to start talking, he started talking. Like a lot of the stuff
So you
I'm
want
seeing.
it to be more proactive rather than reactive.
It's nothing about proactive. It's for me personally, I feel like sometimes when I see stuff, I can understand what's going on. Like the whole making Sky free and, you know, going right to your MPs and everything. I understood where that's coming from. Because at the end of the day, yeah, like there's no football on. We've got to do something now.
Yeah.
Like we can own this conversation. And that's what he's doing Gary Neville was a broadcaster. That's first and foremost. He's not a former, he's a broadcaster. Therefore, he has now owned this moment because he's discussing everything. And, Gary, what's your thoughts on this? Gary, what should we do? He was even talking about, I'm on an independent panel when we're trying to do X, Y, and Z. He's owning this moment because in terms of what he wants to do, it favors him.
Yeah.
Like,
Listen,
there's been so much opportunities. Because
Like,
at the end of the
does this favour
day,
him?
he's leading this conversation now. Everything is Gary Neville said this.
Does it
and,
not
we
need to
believe
come
this,
from a voice like that?
But
why is it taking
This
so
is what
long?
I'm saying.
16
Why
years?
hasn't
Better
it
late
come?
than never.
And
Nah, I don't
there
like
is
you
that,
were-
but
you're part of the football club
You know,
from day.
you know what I'll say? Two things can coexist. I agree with you. It's great that he's talking, but I also feel that the other part of it where it's self-serving is still there as well.
I just did-
honestly
you know,
believe-
it's not
But
even
for
that.
me, I just don't think the message should get lost at the end
No,
of the day.
the
of what
message
he's
No,
shouldn't
no,
get
no,
lost.
but
But I'm just saying,
it's how the message comes across
this is
as
what I'm
well.
saying. I'm just saying it's the manner in which he's doing it, and it's the manner in which it's like kind of like everyone has been thinking this for a long time. So if that's the case, then you should have said something from a long time ago. Do you know what I mean? You need to think about the influence of Sky, bro. It's massive.
They weaponized
You know what I'm
fans
saying?
in the last-
It's both
massive.
sides of the fence when they pick and choose.
Yeah,
But
no,
they'd love to do that.
But I
Exactly.
feel like-
But do you know what? Again, I agree with what Gary Neville is saying, and everything that we are doing. I hope we do it next match. I hope we do it we got 2 Old Trafford games left. I hope we do it for the next 2.
Yeah.
I really do.
Because now
but
you're
we'll
hurting them
see.
where it matters.
Exactly.
100%, 100%.
Exactly.
And the thing is, because it's such a big game, as you said, the whole world is tuned into this right now.
Mm-hmm.
There's no hiding
that's
place
the
from it
key
as well.
point.
As normally, as you said, the first protest is a little test of waters or whatever. Now it's like, yo, games are kicking off 4:30.
Now, one thing
million
is-
or whatever.
You would
people
have
are
had
tuning
fans
another
in
thing-
America,
people, as they say.
Asia, no
Yeah,
matter
another
where,
thing,
Africa,
yeah.
Now you're seeing
waiting
it,
for
you're
this
hurting
game.
pockets and you're putting it out in front of the world. See, that's why I like this one.
And another thing, just as we were talking about the broadcasters and stuff, I saw what Roy Keane was saying. I saw what Michael Richards was saying, and big up like what they were saying. They kind of understood it. Gary Neville, of course, still understands it as well. Carragher as well, but Graham Souness, it's one of them ones where it's like, listen, if I turned up on Sky Sports and said anything like that, people will say, "Who the hell is this guy? Get this guy out of here!" Yeah, I'm trying to say, come on, man. If you're not educated on
Massive.
if you're not educated
Don't
on
talk.
a conversation,
don't talk.
just don't talk, bro.
Yeah.
And I tweeted it. Production, remember when me and you were talking? You asked me one time in the group chat, why do United fans hate Glazers? I said, bro, I don't even know. I
Went
I
on
had to,
Google
bro.
it.
I went on Google, researched it, did it, and I'm like, raw, because I was always just anti-Woodward. You remember? I was always anti. I never used to say Glazers. I was anti-Woodward. But when he asked me, I was like, do you know what? I don't even really know. Let me go. And someone like Graham Souness should be doing that. Coming up on Sky Sports News, they just turn around and say the reason why all these passionate Man United fans are doing this is because Man City are now winning the league. Brother, come on, man. You can't be
Like
going on
Vinci.
TV.
It's
and saying
a
them kind of things.
it's a common thread because sometimes and we see it online. Sometimes people just feel like they have to say something, they have to speak, and given the situation where there was no game, man just thought, I'm just gonna start saying bare stuff that
Bro,
there was
man
no
were
need.
just trying to fill up time at some
Real
point.
talk, real
Like,
talk.
it's-
But
it's ridiculous,
Before
man.
we move away, I feel like one thing that has been highlighted in the last 2 weeks, and is still true, is when you look at City and Chelsea, you can tell that like there's good intentions for the club. It might be to do something else. Like for instance, some people might say that City are investing because in terms of Etihad and UAE, what they want to do, football's a way to drive that message. Chelsea because of Russia, whatever. But these people are actually fully investing in the club because they want to win, they want to take over. And not to thing, but production. We watch women's football and everything. They did the same thing there. You know what? There's an opportunity. We want to take over, put our money, our best foot forward. We want to dominate everything. And if it comes with money further down the line, great. If it doesn't, we'll count our losses. And I said it 2 weeks ago. I still feel that every other club in the Premier League, their owners may say stuff, but I feel majority, if they were in that position to take up the Super League, they would have done it. I've seen Wolves get new ownership, Leeds get new ownership. I've seen all of these clubs, Everton, get ownership from
Everton are
overseas.
top, by the way. You know what that list that I just said about the United
Putting
and
money
Tottenham?
in.
Everton have
Taking
put
money
like
in.
300
Bro, do you
million
remember
in the last 4
since
years
Koeman-
into the
club?
bro,
Yeah, yeah.
to the
Since
owners.
Koeman, they've been splashing the cash
Yeah.
every
Yeah.
summer trying to
And the
catch
thing
up.
is,
million, it's mad.
if you're putting investment in,
Bro.
if there's an opportunity to get the money back, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? You're gonna
Your
do
club.
it. So I believe that a lot of those clubs, even though the owners came out and they had to kind of say, this is ridiculous. They're trying to bring things. They would have taken the opportunity because you come into it to win it, but if you come in and you're getting money as well, you're gonna do it. But we'll see what happens from here. I found it very interesting because obviously Liverpool involved in this as well. We didn't get to see their side too tough. I have this personal theory that Liverpool would have wanted this game cancelled as well, because if they had
crashed them anyway.
No, but if they had beaten you, they would have basically given the title to City. It's already going anyway, but if they had done that, they're doing the favour. So
they would have probably liked that.
I don't know.
They care. I don't think it would have been sweet for them to just nail it in United. We're not going to win the league anyway, but it would have been sweet for them just to do it.
No, but they've given it. They've given it to
but
City.
It don't matter. They're not rivals like that. You know what
No,
I mean? United is still,
that's what I'm saying. I just have this personal thing. Is
like if Man United were playing, I'm telling you now, if Man United were playing City, and we can stop Liverpool from winning the league or whatever the angle is, we would love to do that, bro. We would, even if it's Man City, bro. Like we would love Liverpool not to win it. You see, last season, a couple Man United fans wanted City to win it in 89 because that's the position we were in. Like, come on, City.
No,
you know what I mean?
Liverpool City
that's a good shot.
Yeah, they don't have a rivalry.
I just have this feeling that it's not. You know what you're thinking. You're just quickly. Everyone's in the hotel rooms. Like,
but one thing that you saw, which is why I'm so confused about Tottenham's protest, why it was so quite low, is that the clubs that really have built up this frustration for years are the ones. The Arsenal, United are probably the two that had the most, out there protests. And I saw Liverpool tried like a little thing as well. I'm not going to speak on Liverpool because I'm not going to do a Souness. I don't know what FSG. I don't know what the problem with Liverpool and FSG is. But theirs was not that big.
But I think a heritage one.
Exactly. I think it's more about the spirit of football. I feel like the Glazers
like
issue.
Working man's club.
Yeah, and the Glazers issue has come from like 16 years. Like with the Liverpool, all of the Liverpool fans were talking about Shankly, like what he wanted for football and everything. So it's similar, but I feel like yours has been a bit more long. And
I know.
But
FSG
you're speaking on Spurs.
I know FSG don't invest like that.
Yeah.
So I know they've got their issues in that.
Yeah.
But I would have thought maybe theirs would have been a bit bigger, but it didn't seem that big. Obviously,
I think
Chelsea, you guys are fine.
Yeah.
But with Spurs, I don't know why it was so small when you guys have got this issue. I just read that stat. I don't get it.
So last minute, so unorganized.
Surely you
the first proper one that I think now is on the 15th against Aston Villa.
Do you know where it is?
Properly, they're trying to rally round and trying to make something happen. But as you said, the Arsenal and United are arguably the two that I feel like have made the most noise purely because it's been so long. And for me, I think Spursley you lot have that history and heritage where you lot have
watching your club.
With us, we're always trying to get there and we haven't got there. And for me, that's where I feel like now more noise should be made more than ever. But
the thing is that you're right, and it's not even to take the piss, but like, and I'm not using it as a sole metric, but you know, when we look at YouTube, we talk about, so I call you the king of the Lillywhites because you are like the leader now. And that says something, like in your short time of doing stuff, you are the leader. Like,
the presence ain't there, you're saying?
Yeah, it's not, it has to build.
There's 100 United YouTubers.
Think about but think back. No, but what's that?
Leader hype.
Expressions is still the leader, boy.
No, Expressions is like, you know, there's like Expressions is in the offices, but Fred's on the front line. You get me? You need both. But like, if you think about like United fan team, all of this type of stuff, like AFTV, like the presence has grown so long. So if these messages and things are like the same, and people are saying this, there's so much more to galvanize behind it. I think Spurs are still sort of growing into this mega 100%.
Fandom. Yeah,
you got super fans, but in terms of like that mega fandom, Chelsea don't have it to the level of those two clubs as well. So like, it's not even like, I think City certainly don't have it.
Yeah,
but those two clubs,
they have definitely more of an online presence. They definitely have more of an online presence.
Now, but one thing is though, big up everyone that is doing the protests and stuff. Do you know what I mean? And it's good, bro. Like this is what it was, and it's again. Now, I don't want to go too far left, but it's just funny, you know, that how I'm all for protests always, but it's just funny how these protests are being received compared to how the Black Lives Matter protests are being received. You know what I'm trying to say?
I saw a tweet like that.
I mean, Black Lives Matter protests, you know, it was going on as borderline criminal, and then this one, they're all good with it. But it is what it is, innit?
Listen,
non-violent, you know what I mean? But I saw United security guy with his face bust, but
no, but I mean, when we saw this protest, the first thing I heard was, you know, there's a right to protest in this country. It's good, and I just made me realize that, you know what, boy, we've got a long way to go, boy. Fam, they would have been letting off. They would have got the water cannon out.
Rubber guns.
They would have got the water cannon out. Yeah, they would have got everything. But Champions League, Europa League, obviously there was a big week for that. You guys, absolute thrashing. Like that was, you know, somewhat impressive. Well, not somewhat. It was impressive. Arsenal, on the other hand, I mean, they caught life getting the away goal, but it was funny how it was like, if we play United in the final, it's going to be the biggest game.
The back line they had.
Listen.
Lord of mercy.
Arteta's under surveillance still, I can't lie. He's under heavy surveillance. Chelsea, very, very interesting game. It just shows you, I mean, we've always spoken about it here, Benzema, in terms of, I always said, if you can be a top striker at a club like that for 10 years straight, you are a different class. Like, it's unheard of that just one position stay like that. So, boy.
What about Chelsea? Would you think of your chances moving forward as well? Because that performance, for me personally, I was massively impressed with Tuchel.
I said, when you get semi-final, you have to believe it's 2 games. We've got maybe 6 or 7 games left this season.
But that was like a tactical. I felt like Zidane tried to get into a tactical battle with Tuchel and just lost. And Tuchel, since he's come in, I was someone who, I used to try my Tuchel pack. Yeah. But hey, tactically, he's been spot on since he's come in, bruv.
In any season like this year.
What was that post you put out earlier? Actually, let me see that.
In any defensive stats is number 1 for everything. But in terms of like, I remember at the beginning of the season for defensive stats, right?
Since he's come in, innit?
And this was individual error FC before that.
Goals conceded, clean sheet, shots on target face, XG against errors leading to goals.
We've had a really weird season. I can't. Was it you speaking? No, it was you speaking when I was saying that we've had such a weird season. Jorginho's our top goal scorer in Premier League. Werner has got double assists, managed to get double assists. In terms of goal scoring, we're not there. Mendy has the best save percentage in the Premier League. There's so many things that don't make sense, but we've managed to just keep moving. And we've got 6 games now, which can make this season be something that's like, oh my gosh, I didn't expect that. Which is where you have to give credit for him to coming in. Any manager that comes in the middle of the season and kind of gets their idea across, you give respect to. But the way he's gone about this, like, you just have to respect it. I know the football may not be exciting for everything, but this was a team that was... Do you remember that Leicester game that Chelsea played? I think it was Lampard's last game, where we had like our midfield around Leicester's midfield and we let them play. Like, that's where we've come from. Yeah. So now where it's organisation, it's people finally realising that Mason Mount is a great player, despite, saying things before. And players kind of stepping up to the plate. Rudiger was someone that I came here and I said, you know what? He's supposed to be.
And that was something you were saying early on as well. Is he improving players? Have we seen that now in Tuchel?
I've seen Rudiger go back to where he should be. Again, whether you can say improving or not is always going to be like, are they actually performing in form or improving? It's going to be hard to see in the season. But I'm seeing players in form, doing well, and I'm seeing him get the best out of players. Like
Christensen, for example.
I thought Christensen was cold out the thing. He's playing next to Thiago Silva now. Even the whole Werner thing, I remember I came here a few weeks ago and I said, I've got to be real, because if it was any other person, striker, I'll be ripping him apart. And I am still pissed off about it. But he still is offering something. Yeah. It's a weird season, and we're nearly there. The game in Madrid, we can do that. I believe we can do that.
Would you reckon?
Less in the final, we can do that.
You have to put a percentage on your probability of winning it.
What, Champions League? Well, we have to get past Madrid first. If we get past Madrid, anything can happen. And I'm confident we can get past Madrid. I'm confident we can.
He wants to say that you're gonna win it.
I want him to come out and say, "Yo, put the balls on the table and say, hey, Tuchel, wait, we coming."
Once we get past Madrid, it's smoke. But even the Fulham performance, like, there was something he did. Maybe I'm overthinking and whatnot. But obviously, Gilmour had to play. Gilmour hasn't had much football and everything. He comes in. Gilmour was playing centre mid by himself. Gilmour was playing centre mid by himself, and I was laughing my head off. But I was like, you know what? I don't know. Who did.
Hey, they call him the Scottish Iniesta. Wow. Chelsea fans, boy.
What, saying what? Ian Brewer and Iniesta? Is that what they said?
I don't know.
They're too funny.
2 games last season, they got excited.
But like, he was by himself, playing Mount in the middle, but Mount was going forward. There's certain things where it's like, okay, you're testing this kid's character and everything. Like, I like the way he's conducted himself. I like the way he's spoken in press, but I like the way that he's actually handled business. And if he gets to, that would be back-to-back finals, Champions League. If he gets to the final. Because PSG last year.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
So in terms of him, take away Chelsea, in terms of him, you've got to give him credit for that. Yeah. You get where I'm coming from. So we'll see how it goes. I am confident that we can get to the final. I'm confident.
Because Madrid got Ramos, Valverde,
Ramos
Mendy.
Back, right?
There's another one as well.
Mendy,
but they got a couple man coming back.
Marcelo's at the polling station.
Hazard should be a bit more.
So it'll be
extra games under.
It'll be a big game. And boy, listen, this is what it comes down to, man. You got to forget everything and get everything done in that game. So we'll see. But I was like, you said, that first 20 minutes, that was like
I was like,
this
right.
is Chetty, like,
Is this
wow,
what-
this is what
yeah.
I'm working with, yeah.
What, against Madrid?
Yeah, of course Timo missed, and it's like, right, but no, we'll see, man. I feel like something we always talk about here is like we try not to get, not that we try not to get too excited, but you have a standard of what you think Man United are. So when you do stuff, it's like, all right, cool. I've always had a standard of where Chelsea should be. So when I see us play against like that, like against Madrid, I'm like, you know what? That's what I'm talking about. All the other stuff is like, we should be doing this.
Yeah.
That's where we've come from. To a certain extent, you had that before everything went haywire. You were like, we should be, you know,
Yeah.
we should be beating Brighton 1-0.
Shut up.
We should be beating.
Shit on us, bro.
There was that. We should be beating Southampton 1-0. You know, there's the expectation is different, but it's like, you know, we should. It was there.
Bro.
It was there. You know, it was there. We should West Ham should be a good draw for us. Them the expectations there, not before the L's and that. But listen, it is what it is, man. Speaking on Spurs though, there was something I wanted to bring up. Oh,
Yeah, this guy, he doesn't care about the,
It's true.
He doesn't care about these other teams.
It's true.
He's
With the PSG,
self-indulgent,
no,
you know
no.
what I mean?
No, with the PSG, yeah.
Bro,
It is
Spurs,
the enemies.
Spurs, like, we don't care about Spurs anyway.
Major child,
We don't
respect
care
on us
about
today. I
Spurs
like this.
anymore.
Oh,
We literally
PSG.
don't care no more.
Let's talk about.
Yeah, I mean, they're not relevant anymore, fam.
let's
Yeah,
talk
what
about.
should be your topic?
Do you know?
That's what I was going to. That's what I was going to.
Yeah, we will.
That's what I was going to. But
We will.
let's go PSG because PSG City, the first part of that game, wow.
Mm,
Wow.
mm.
Like we always talk about the dying game and everything, robots. That first bit of the game, it was like,
And it was that.
What
That was that first half for for PSG was great. You know what I mean? Like for them in general, I feel like they controlled the midfield. I felt like Neymar was having a great game. I felt like everything was going well for them. And then my thing was, which I spoke to you about it, is first and foremost,
Go check it out.
I have no idea if has anyone seen Mbappe since. I don't know because he had 30 touches
Got
in
injured
the
on the
game.
weekend.
Yeah, he had 30 touches in the game, which was less than Edison. He didn't have a shot in the whole match. He dropped a stinker on the highest stage. Do you know what I mean? And in this level, we've said it. You're PSG are going to be very reliant on two top 5 players, if you want to say Mbappe is one of them, in the world, right? And if one of them is going to be dropping a stinker, the team level is going to drop down.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt, I'm not blaming the whole game, by the way, on Mbappe. I'm going to get into it in a bit.
just
but
a
I'm
quick
just saying,
one, bro.
if
For
for
what
him-
you're saying, it goes back to what we said about Neymar a few weeks. When you're like of a standard, the expectation and the view on you is going to be different. And that's something that he has to wear because, like you said, if you're in that club of top players, when it gets these moments where it's ballers meet ballers and big games, you can't afford to go missing. And that's what happened.
Even on this stage as well, like as Neymar's influences games, which is great, but even at this stage as well, you want to get some goals.
There's
as well
another level.
at the end of the day, because
Yeah.
if you look at the Bayern one as well, he got lucky. You know what I mean? Last season, the semi-finals, he
5
didn't.
misses.
Yeah, he didn't
Five
score
big
in the
misses.
semi-finals either. So it's one of them ones where in the final even he didn't score. It's one of these ones that Ronaldo, Messi, when they get to these levels, they will influence and they'll win the game for you.
Yeah.
And as much as I think Neymar is one of the best in the world or whatever, you need to start putting down some goals in these moments as well. People are going to say, oh, it's not all about GNA. But listen, if you want to get through this level, because look what happened in the second half. Pochettino, I'm sorry, people need to put lights on that because you go into the second half, you can't in the second half now retreated the whole way. Somebody else might want to, one of you man can go and do it onto what Pep and City did. But for me, when I look at it, for what everything PSG done, it was great. Then in the second half, Pochettino completely put the shackles on them and they don't have any of the ball. They don't have any of the football, bro. And that's exactly what Manchester City want to do. It was literally the
two different
definition
games. It was
of
almost
game
two,
of
yeah.
two halves.
Yeah.
And for me, Poch got it wrong. And a lot of people, you know, they don't really like to look at these things. They'll look at this player, they'll look at that. But overall, Poch got it for me in the second half completely wrong. And he threw the game away and gave it to Man City. He basically what
enabled them.
what PSG were doing. Hold on, what PSG were doing was totally different to the Bayern Munich man. Let's all be honest. Bayern Munich should have beat PSG.
Yeah.
They should have, but they got away with it. And then they went into this game and they dominated City. Verratti was on the pitch. It was looking all good. And in the second half, he went back to the tactics that he had against Bayern Munich. And Man City, very lucky goals, but I'm sorry, you didn't get that luck. That Bayern Munich didn't get the luck. Man City got the luck. And now look.
But then do you not think because of that the way you're saying how dangerous they looked against Bayern, I thought City were paying them way too much respect in the first half. City weren't pressing them. City were playing were deeper than usual, and it's like I don't know. Second half, I felt like they rose it as much as Pochettino. You could say put the clamps on. I thought they come out with different attitude, completely switched mindset, and were at them their necks from minute one.
Do you know?
And then also with where you were saying like those star players can have a positive effect. Neymar was also one of those that was starting to lose his head when they couldn't get a grip on the game. Got that yellow card.
I've never seen Neymar as a leader.
Bro, and that's the thing. Idrissa Gueye got sent off. It just went sliding down there. Individual errors come into mistakes. That's where them leaders also need to step up. But City, I would give them a lot of credit as well. Because this has been but how many times have City been in moments like this where they've choked?
No, I agree with you. But what I'm saying is, just a quick one. In terms of the slow start and everything here, like I know what
people were talking about. Yo, City are gonna get ripped. It's gonna be 4 or 5-0.
But to a certain extent, this season, I have seen this a few times from City, and it's like what we said. It's almost like a computer game where they learn all the moves, they absorb everything, and then next you know it's like okay, cool. I know what you can do. I'm going to slap it on you. But that's what I'm saying. But to a certain extent, PSG made it too easy. PSG made it too. The game completely flipped.
In the first half,
the game. Like, 1 second, bro. The game literally. For the game to completely flip like that, it's not just City on switching on the switch. PSG must have had to do something as well for that to happen.
Two things can coexist. As I was once told.
No, look, but with Man
City raised it, PSG sat back.
But the thing is, it's very much how I see it. It's very much like the tale of the two clubs. You know what I'm trying to say, and the managers or whatever. This is the first time City have got here since Pellegrini. So it's the semi-finals. They're gonna be probably a little bit nervous to come out with, which is, I understand, right? PSG were here last season. It's a bit more comfortable, but in the second half, Pochettino went back into that state. And Pochettino has done this at Spurs, by the way. So let's not act like this is some new thing that Poch has done. I've seen Poch do this at Spurs, go into his shell, and Spurs end up bottling the game. I've seen it. You would have seen it, bro.
I've said it on the show. I've said it on the show.
Exactly. So it's one of them ones where I think he went now with this mentality of, do you know what? We're 1-0 up. We're 1-0 up. Let's be cautious, guys. Wrap it up. Whereas in the first half, it was like Neymar running.
Let's keep going,
let's go.
All it was like, yo, Mbappe joined the party. That's all it was.
But that's what I mentioned his name specifically because you mentioned the two. Di Maria, being in the form he is and doing what he was doing, and being a player that everyone's kind of known can do that is very helpful because we always talk about 2-2-2. Even like you said that Mahrez had like a thing that he played well. It was like, but again, the two players that you're probably looking at City. No, I'd have said yes. I'd have said yes.
Production.
All I said was yes. But the two players that
I try to fish him in like
the two players that the two players that people are looking to City and the hype behind was before was Foden and De Bruyne. And of course, Mahrez, doing something then aids that. Do you get where I'm coming from? So it's important to have those key men. But like you said, everyone.
Sterling last year when he had them chances.
No, listen. For me,
make the difference, man.
No. Look, for me, if you with what you're saying, like if Di Maria drops a 10 out of 10, performance, it's still not going to be good enough for PSG to get. They need Mbappe and Neymar.
No, I'm not disputing it, but I'm saying if Neymar and Mbappe drop high levels, then you've got Di Maria doing his thing. You're in a better place. Like all I'm saying is your accountability. You're always gonna look at your star men, but it helps you if the other men are helping as well. Like PSG just can't watch and go, oh my god, Neymar, Mbappe, please. Everyone else got a chip in.
One thing I came out and I said this is why I don't like. This is when I know media have favorites. I can't believe we're walking away from this game talking about KDB, Foden and Mahrez. Bro, Kyle Walker, Gundogan and Rodri were the best players on the fucking pitch. I'm not even hearing.
Bernardo's one that gets Bernardo's playing.
Oh, sorry, and Diaz. I'm not even hearing these names. I'm hearing KDB. Foden was average, bro. That's what did one run and outside the boot.
You mentioned, but this goes back to what you said. You mentioned the big players. What? And goes kind of.
No, I'm talking about people are making it like out of that game. This is the light. Like these are the players that.
Oh no! The
players that really put it down was Gundogan, Rodri, Diaz, and Kyle Walker. Them four.
It was a character.
Ran that game.
Yeah. That's how.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
I'm giving more credit.
I'm giving more credit to Pep and them man than what these guys are doing. The media are giving it all to the big
no,
names.
but that's how it should be, because that's what helped. And what you're saying
got
is
man of the match.
that
was
was
the same
that
match
was.
here. Are we all watching the same game?
Who wins the second leg? Who qualifies?
Who wins the second leg?
If PSG can do what they did in the first half, and like we're saying, everyone turns up, then they can be in money.
Do you know what?
So PSG.
Yeah, if they turn up, yes.
Okay.
My heart is telling me PSG. My head is telling me City. But you know what?
Pick one.
Do you know what? I'm gonna go PSG. Just for the fact that they scored 3 at the Allianz and 4 at the Camp Nou, so they're maybe an away team. And Mbappe was crazy in those 2
How
games.
many times can you do
maybe.
them away performances?
Hey, you never know, man.
Some people are just built for that.
know.
They just prefer it.
You never know.
people just
Yeah.
prefer
Oh,
it.
yeah, exactly. You look at
Some people just prefer it.
That's you know why I say about Mbappe when I say the space in behind. Now look, the away games is when he shined the most because you get space in behind. Against Barcelona, there was space in behind. Against Bayern, there was space in behind. City naturally
2 away goals.
what?
Yeah,
City
naturally will play.
City naturally are going to come. Are going to play higher.
Yeah.
Mbappe should have space in behind. So
And
it should be a game that's more
on
This
top
is the
of
Pep
everything-
adjustments,
but
man. I'm telling you.
until everything
I
we're
can see
saying as
City
well.
taking it.
No, hey, but until everything we're saying as well, like I would hope that Mbappe knows that he has to raise it. I would hope that, like we're saying about with the name of thing,
he's
like,
in
He
Mbappe
did get
name-
injured on the weekend
yeah,
as well, though.
no,
He was
hey,
training.
but I'm
He was
saying-
training. He was training.
But
That's
like
fine.
with
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Neymar thing as well, I would hope that Neymar knows that okay, like
Gotta
I have to
protect
do what
Mbappe.
I need to do. Like the two, I mean, we at the end of the season we will have our defensive talk.
Yeah.
Like the two defensively, like do what they need to do.
Yeah.
Like we will see who really wants it, and
It's
I feel
gonna
like
be
PSG may
interesting.
want it more.
I don't know. No. I wouldn't question if City
Bro,
want
I
this.
think-
No,
I
City
think-
want this. City
No,
want
of
this.
course, but I
PSG
think that
needed
PSG.
more because they got to the final last year.
This is what I'm
No,
saying. This is
City
what I'm
needs-
saying.
I don't think so. Ooh, I don't know who needs it more, but City, they want this, bro.
City.
We'll
they want
see.
this.
This is
that's-
Aguero-
I just
don't
feel like
forget,
it's
this
Pep's
is
time.
this
It's
Aguero's
Pep's time, man.
farewell
Do you know what-
season. KDB.
Do you know what
remember
can be
last
very
season?
important in this?
Super
though, yeah?
contract.
Do you know what
You
can,
say?
Super contract. Mega. Super max.
negotiations.
Yeah.
Do you know what would be very important in this? We've highlighted it with Pochettino already. We've seen it sometimes with Pep when we say anytime we see Pep lose, it's like you've kind of influenced this. Who may potentially overcomplicate things may be where we see the loser here. Because we see Pochettino do it sometimes that second half. Why would you do that? And we've seen Guardiola like, I'm gonna,
It's more on City.
I trust
I think there's
Guardiola
more pressure.
more.
I
And
think
I
there's
think-
more pressure. Well, maybe because I'm in England, yeah, but I think there's more pressure on City because anywhere Pep goes, you
Boy,
expect to
listen,
win. It's
PSG are second in the
It's
title
because of
race,
the
you know.
strength and depth,
it's like if you play with LeBron James, bro. The pressure raises wherever Pep goes. The pressure raises.
no, hey,
I
did you
think
see-
I
did
think
you
there's
see
more
the
pressure
Two different
on them.
lineups they played from the weekend
Yeah,
to
yeah,
now.
yeah.
Like that's the strength and depth.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah,
reason why
Fam,
they have to.
Yilmaz is about to make sure that PSG don't win the title. Them man are under pressure still. He's 36,
for real.
making sure they may might not win the title. It's a mad thing.
It's
Spurs.
interesting.
Wait, let's say manager. What are you saying? You want to talk about? You want
Brother,
to park
I'm
it?
on a 4-day. You see, Premier League taking 4-day break from social. I'm taking 4-day break
Oh
from
man,
Spurs.
listen, but just for
Everyone
clarity,
turning down you
Rodgers,
Cause they're-
You
Rodgers,
guys thought that they were
I don't
want
wanna
to
do it.
Managers. I was telling
Nangelsmann-
them, how many times do I have to tell you guys? bro?
Nangelsmann,
I
I
was-
think
I was saying the same thing, bro.
Ten Hag-
Eddie Howe, bro. I'm
Ten Hag,
Eddie Howe
I'm
hype.
saying- for a manager,
you say that now.
for a manager to see links and say, you know what, let me stay for a few more years.
Bro.
That is damning.
Nagelsmann said safe.
Scott Parker,
Ralph, what's his brother's
Ralph
name?
Rangnick.
He
He's the front
rejected
runner now.
as well.
I don't even
He
know.
apparently
There was
he's-
talks yesterday.
Jesse brother, what's his name?
Oh,
Jesse-
Nang-
I don't think
oh,
Jesse
he's going.
Marsch-
No, he's going Red Bull.
He
But
was
these
due
are a
to
lot of
go
the guys
left.
that were on your shortlist, bro.
Nah,
Your
nah.
What the
shortlist
missions?
getting
What the missions?
Smaller.
Jesse
failing,
March
bro.
was not on the shortlist, bro.
Well, that's what it says on Twitter, bro.
Nah, bro. Pull up the Twitter.
Bro, it says on Twitter
Pull
that.
up it on Twitter.
What?
Oh, that's
Production,
funny.
add it in if you can find it. Yeah.
Alright,
Man.
well.
But yeah, let's do champ and duds before we got a cut. Champs, Inter Milan for Conte, Lukaku for breaking that dominance.
9 years, bro.
Conte for starting it, then breaking it is really hilarious. By the way, that is so funny.
30.
Do you know how funny it is? Yeah, let me,
Revival of the front twos. He's
Boy.
done that as well.
boy. Yeah,
Took some Premier League rejects people were laughing at. What was it?
Boy.
Ashley Young, Lukaku,
Darmian.
Sanchez, Darmian.
Bro,
Ericsson.
RB
What's he doing with
Salzburg
this?
manager Jesse Marsch personally rejected Tottenham Hotspur and decided to join Leipzig. Don't play with me, blood. Bro, look, it's that German.
No, but he's saying
German
did-
paper
did-
No, I'm
kicker.
saying he
Throughout
wasn't on
the
my
saying,
short-
did
I'm
I
saying
say
he
I
wasn't on
want
my
I
him?
didn't say
personal-
you. Oh, now
That's
your
what he
personal,
said.
personal hype. I wasn't talking about you.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
feel
man,
like-
we don't care.
Personal
We
hype,
don't
bro.
care about
yeah.
league
That's
shortlist,
probably
bro.
my champ. I'll put Emma Hayes as well. First woman.
When I told you that Emma Hayes should manage Chelsea, or join your staff, what did you guys say?
We're just crediting Tuchel 10 minutes ago. What he said,
Hey,
don't go too far,
hey,
man.
when I said, remember,
Emma Hayes will get a men's job.
I said hire her about 2 years ago.
What did we say?
You man laughed me out of here.
We didn't
You
laugh.
man were all mocking me.
Did we
I
laugh?
was on
Did
my
you not
own.
mock him?
Did
Yes,
we
I
laugh?
was.
Are you lot bigging her up now?
Did we
Yeah,
laugh?
exactly.
Raw.
We're gonna get the receipts
Did we
later
laugh?
on. We get the receipts later.
No, but I'm saying, did we laugh? I'm
laugh.
saying because you have a good
Progressive
memory.
cams. I like
We'll
this.
see. We'll
There we
check
go.
it out.
Progressive
laugh.
cams. What?
Boy,
Yeah, you were doing the man. I didn't laugh.
now you don't want to do deflection.
We'll check. I remember
I didn't laugh.
hyping- I remember
But the
hyping
reason-
Emma Hayes, boy.
But the
Proof is in the
reason why
puds.
I'm saying champ is because she is the first woman in 12 years to get to the Champions League final in the women's thing, which I think is she's the first woman to do it. All the other
get
teams
to
that have gone
what?
to Champions League final, all the other teams,
all managed by men.
all managed by men. Yeah,
For real.
6 trophies.
Baby Pep.
Always gets to the end and gets knocked out.
He's got a sextuple.
Oh man, my dad. Actually, you man do your champ style. I do my dad. He's your champ.
My champs will probably be the United protesters
Protesters
today.
Shut. You're the same.
Doing their thing. That's
Yeah.
how you
That
make
would
noise.
be-
That's how you
yeah.
disrupt
Who's your
the game.
champ?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. My dad, and it hurts me, but my dad is Jose Mourinho.
What are we doing?
Oh yeah.
My dad's Jose Mourinho.
What? Because he's
It
doing
don't
off
hurt,
enjoyment.
You know, why is he acting like it hurts? And he's been
Freeing
different.
it.
No. There is.
4
I was
5
telling
years
production.
now.
No, I was telling production. This is like seeing your dad become washed. Like when I saw the picture of him and Alan Brazil, yeah, I said, "What is this man? A man like this is a man that changed football."
Chelsea's
No,
father.
but listen. No,
Look
but
how he
listen to
disrespects
me.
him.
A man that changed football is now
Man
gossiping
built your club brick
on
by
radio.
brick. He removed the car park.
Nah, Talk Sport and he's doing
And the
Talk Sport
Sun.
The Times.
And son,
That's dead.
that's a bit.
wrong with that?
That's sad. If this man that's done
Like
everything,
you man
it's
are
sad
talking
to see
about,
him
he can't get no big club management, no
Go
job,
back to
no
Sky
more. So
Sports
let
or
him
something,
talk.
like BT or
Let him
something.
get his cake.
He could've waited.
BT
He could've
high.
waited.
Sport and the Sun. Them
After they've been
clickbaiters.
slandering him for the last 6 months, you think he wants to sit next to them,
Jose
man?
went from changing
clickbaiters.
football to gossiping. That personally, that hurts. After seeing everything he did for my club, that's me anyway. So that's my dad.
You've never respected what he did for you.
That's my
he's
dad.
never
You've
respected.
never,
He's trying to
ever
come with
respected
sentiment
him.
now.
Yeah,
Nah, man.
don't-
Anyway, who's your dad?
It's,
Who's your
for what he did to my
who's your-
club hype.
who's your-
My dad continuously for the second week running Tottenham Hotspurs, bro. Continuing to be the brunt of everyone's
In fact, my
jokes,
dad is you,
the
bro.
managerial
You're
go
actually my
around.
dad. For the mission. Mission 1, mission 2. Man failed mission 1, you know. You want to do the rest of the missions, man.
So-
Man said mission 1. How can you fail the first mission?
So what? I wanted to get a manager. What's wrong with that?
Mission hype.
Yeah. Grab Ten Hag.
Mission hype.
I said in the end it was a domino effect. It starts with Ten Hag,
Fam.
it ends with
Mission
Gravenberch.
hype.
We failed mission 1.
That was hilarious.
But no, Tottenham Hotspurs.
Yeah.
What did he say?
Mission 2, Sean Dyche.
Fam, Steve McLaren, you know their managers there, bro.
Wait, I don't even. Who so carry on for your dad? You said
No, I
Spurs.
said Tottenham.
Spurs, is yours.
Uh,
Glazers, you're wearing the scarf.
yeah, I mean, we touched on that. Who's done some nonsense this week?
Arteta.
I don't know. You know what's Arteta? Then you hate
Is that-
Arteta. This guy
No,
plays Arteta
Arteta's under
every week.
surveillance.
Nah, allow Arteta, man. Huh? Oh, with the false 9 thing. Nah, allow him.
In the semi-final.
Oh,
You know,
that's a fucking big shout.
yeah. It's just,
I'm sorry, but man, I'm scared to get hit by the ball.
by Mahrez, not even Roberto Carlos.
Brother, what are we doing? Come
Wait,
on, man.
there's-
I don't even know. I don't really have.
In
I
a
don't really,
big game like
I
that.
thought,
as well,
do you know,
that's
I was so
embarrassing, I'm sorry.
sad by that game as well. You know, Navas, he was having these conversations in secret. Was saying that, you know what? Yeah, he's big.
Not
he's
even a
big.
bro. We was gassing him up on Dos Locos for
Fam,
like 2 weeks, saying,
fam.
"Yo,
And then that
Navas
performance-
underrated."
Then that performance,
Real Madrid, he was slept on.
That
And then man
performance-
just said, "Hey lads, hold this."
Yeah,
One sec."
yeah.
that performance.
I don't really know. You know, I don't really know. I can't even think.
You don't
of
have to
stuff.
have one.
Yeah, I
You
don't.
don't have
Even,
to
I can't
have
even
one.
think.
You
Nah,
have to have
I
one.
can't even
Navas.
think.
How about Welbeck
Navas
for that
deserves it.
finish?
Oh yeah, what a goal that was, bro.
I have other champs, but how tap him for that finish?
Yeah,
that
that
finish
was-
was Welbeck. Dirty finish.
Aye, the Cruyff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dirty
that
finish.
was nice, bro.
Dirty
Vinny-
finish.
Even VAR messing about again with I don't think that Vestergaard thing was a red card against Leicester, but I mean I
Same
don't know
as a
what you can
Balbuena.
do anymore, huh?
Same as a
That goal in
Balbuena,
the
bro.
time,
Like,
Yeah,
fucking
I don't know what
any
you
tackle with any form of force nowadays is seen as a red card.
Listen,
It's
the
like
game's
they
gone.
really want
Barcelona
football
losing
to be
that
a
was
non-contact
doddery.
sport. Hey,
That was Duddery to Granada. I mean,
When,
you could have
when the
you
bottlers
finally-
are bottling on top of the bottlers,
Bro.
it's mad.
Bro, it was funny. Like,
Everyone's just like, hey, you take the
it
title.
was
Now you
literally the
take it.
initiative was now like it's in Barcelona's hands, and they lost
and
to
they
Granada. Granada, bro. Man United dispatched to
Man, like
Granada
Molina, yeah.
light work, bro. I couldn't believe that, man. So
you almost gets the champ of the week as well. How much? Man's 36.
Aye,
And
Lille.
he's actually leading them to, and it was a free transfer, you know, from
Bro.
that one Turkish team.
He was
So
batting up
funny.
hat-tricks against Holland a couple
Euros.
weeks ago, bro.
So mad.
He's on crud.
But yeah, listen, that's another episode. Subscribe, like, share. We are out.